community.
I want to get into this with you a little bit. Obama.
Oh, yes.
Do you or do you not take the stance he didn't do nothing for black people?
Interestingly enough, not enough black people have researched what he actually has or has not done. The thing is, he didn't do the thing that he should have done, which is what everybody's mad about, which is reparations. No black man would become president of the United States of America and do the very thing that helped America maintain her superiority over the very people that she enslaved. I'm not going to give you the thing that validates the evil that I did to you, put you in a position to do it, and then make myself look bad. It's not happening. I'm not going to give you reparations, and I'm for damn sure I'm not going to let a black man do it. He would have been assassinated.
Come on, man.
To be very clear.
He'd have been gone. They wanted to get rid of that man over a suit.
Whole family. The whole family. Here is the deal. This statement has been rolling around in my head, and there'll be more videos that will back up my statement. America seems to be, and I can only speak because I've only been in America. America seems to only want a dictator when the dictator is doing what they want them to do. When the dictator is not on your side, then you want democracy. So I hate that argument all the time of wishing he's the president, he could do this, and he should do this, and do that, and do this, and everything. That's dictatorship. If he had the power to do it, he would do it. He doesn't have the power to do it. However, again, if he's not your president, then you want democracy to be action. Now you remember Congress. Now you remember the Senate. Now you remember voting. Now you remember the judicial system. Now you remember all these other branches. But when the person is on your side, no, they have full reign over everybody.
When it's your team, you want all speed, no brakes. But when it's the other team, you want all brakes, no speed, right? And I've made this point before that if you push people enough to make them actually expose themselves on what they actually want, they want their own Trump, right? They just don't want Trump because Trump is doing things detrimental to their interests. But if they can have their own version of a Trump that they view as doing their own thing, then they will be just fine with that person. My problem with that strain of thinking, though, is that means that you are perfectly okay with oppressing other people. You just simply don't want to be oppressed, right? It takes me back to the plantation thought process of there's a mentality that says, I want all the slaves to be free, or you can have, I want to be the one in the big house. See? So I believe I could be a better slave master. So I would not set the slaves free because we still have to run the business. We still have to get things done. But I would be kinder. I would let them have a voice. I would let them, but you ain't gonna let them free.
Right.
See, people just want the keys to the power. They don't actually want to set the captives free. And that's problematic for me because that's where you end up with me actually being an opponent to people that previously I was allied with.
People want the funny but not funny. You want the gentler, kinder slave owner. You minus the slave owner part of it because that's the part you don't hear. He's still a slave owner. He still owns you as property. But because he's more nicer than the last slave owner,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. People just want the power. That's the reality of the situation. People want the power. If people would just get out my way, I could solve global warming, right? Everybody would have an electric car and nobody would have to pay for it. But wait a minute, what are you going to do about infrastructure? How are we going to have recharging stations? How are we going to have the technology to make sure that they charge quicker? Wait a minute. If we go electric cars, what about the raw materials that has to go into making the batteries and the technology that goes into the batteries? Well, what about the people who have to dig in the mines and get poison to go get the stuff out of the ground so that you can have these electric cars? So it's like no one wants to deal with the dirty part, right? It's like get out the way. I can fix it, and you be like, yeah, but you're gonna hurt all these people down here. Oh, I didn't think about that.
No, everybody's idea starts at the end. the idea. You don't want to think about how to get to the get to the idea. You just want the idea. And the funny thing about it is this: I would be brutally honest with most people. Sorry, just my opinion. Most people, you want the idea to be in fruition. You want it to happen. I mean, that's being human. You have an idea that you think is going to help everybody. I get it, but you don't want to do it.
No, you're just looking for a champion.
Yeah, you waiting on that champion. Still looking at the top of the hill, wait for that white knight to come down to do it. And,
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with people having ambitions and dreams. I'm a dreamer, right? And I keep starting new projects and chasing things, and I want to make an impact and I want to make a difference and all these different things. But I'm also constrained by my own lack of imagination, two, intractability, or AKA laziness, right? Or fear. What if what I go after? This is an analogy I've worked through many times in my head, and this is where I guess is one reason I don't fit so well with most people, because I dare to think down the path. Right? I think down the path. I say to myself, okay, I want to do these things. Well, what if I am able to go out there and do these things? Like, this is my shiny trophy on the shelf, right on the mantle, right? So long as it's up there on the mantle and I don't touch it, I just look at it, it's a beautiful thing. That's the thought that's in your head. That's the plans in your heart, right? You got it out there, but you don't want to take it down and look at it because you're scared you might drop it. You're scared it might not be what you think it is, right? So what if you pursue that dream you have and you fail? To some people, and there's a piece of me who does this, to some people that say, well, now I don't have anything to go after. I don't have a dream to pursue anymore if this fails. I dare not chase it, because what if it fails? Now I have to let it go. Who am I? What will I do? What will I be? Right? But then there's the other side of you that must also say, let me pull this down and let me go after it. And if I'm successful, then it's going to change. It's going to morph. It's going to become something that I can't even think of yet, because I only had my trophy as the first step, because that's all I could see, because it's going to change once you get out there. Or what if it failed? Well, what if it failed? How far did you get along before it failed? Because maybe it needed to fail, right? So you can move it out the way and put something else up there to go chase. But human nature gets in the way, and it hurts things. Where I get frustrated is that people don't bother to think down those lines. I want you to plan for the success, and I want you to plan for the failure. And I want you to look at the shiny, bright stuff and the dark, ugly stuff. Right? When it comes to politics, my question is this: who does it help? Who does it hurt? Who gets paid? And who do we leave behind? If you do those questions for almost anything that you want to do of value, at least you'll go in clear-eyed.
Yeah. Hey, Parker. Mickey, and we don't have the infrastructure to power the electricity if we were all in electric cars. We don't. We simply don't. Like I said, everybody always has this thing where they think of the end game without thinking about a plan. They just don't. They just go straight to the end. And
remember when Fetterman during his election run-up, mm-hmm. and he's from Pennsylvania, I want to say, right? And they do a lot of like old school energy, oil. I think they might still do coal, right? The old school stuff America's built on. And he was tripped up and chased through the streets politically because he wouldn't flat out say that he was against fracking. Right? They said, ooh, that's a change of positions and blah, blah. I have long held that there is more to the situation than what you think. First of all, global warming is real. Man-made impact to global warming is real. But those are also two different things. The Earth goes through global warming just because it's rotating around a ball of fire on an elliptical orbit. So, yeah, sometimes we're going to be closer than we want to be. Sometimes the sun is going to be stronger than we'd like it to be. All kinds of stuff happens because as far as the solar system is concerned, it's operating on millions of years, not decades like we do. Okay? So you have the natural part of it, but then you have the mess we do to it. Cutting down all the trees, putting pavement over everything, burning everything that can catch fire. That's that's on us.
We
so we make it work. Right. But
hold on one second.
Go ahead.
Parker, I don't want to answer this question right now. I do want to answer the question. I'll even read it right now. I just don't want to do it because I think it would take the show over. Do you think Obama's foreign policy decision in terms of wars in the Middle East and part of Africa was overall better, worse, or about the same as you expected to be? Just hold that question. If we have time before the hour is up, or maybe we'll do it at the top of the second hour and everything go. But we have a lot of videos to show. So go ahead, Theus.
Now let's just